Okay, so we have submitted the application onto the QCTO system using their online form. We did some data capture, we accessed the form using the correct link, and we were able to agree to say yes, we have all these things because we are eligible for accreditation. We recorded that application process in case something happens, you want some kind of proof that you submitted it. Quick note on that, so the application I submitted now for training purposes, I did not receive an auto response from QCTO. The reason is probably because I submitted an application some time back for training purposes. They said, "Do you want to be audited?" I said, "No, thank you. Please just cancel that application. That was for training purposes." So my application might still be stuck on the system. There's a lesson in that if you submit an application and you don't complete it, it's going to be complicated to try and get them to delete it off the system. So don't do that. I'm not too worried because this is just for training purposes. Lime Green does not really train. This is just for my training video I'm doing here. What you should receive is an auto response within an hour of submitting that application that confirms that they've received it. A couple of weeks ago, I was getting some applications were getting auto responses, some not. A few months before, there was no system for auto response at all. Lately, applications I submitted last week and the week before, those I have been receiving auto responses from QCTO for every application and for every skills program. So it seems like there was a progression from no auto response to some auto response, and lately auto responses are good with the exception of the application I submitted now, but again I think there's a reason for that beyond QCTO system being off. What those responses look like. Those responses look like this. You get an initial email from them that says, "We've received your application," with your company name on it, and there's an attached APL. That APL is this form. Again, every single requirement they have should be mapped to a portion of a point in your QMS where the evidence of that thing is. Every single thing here is a question, and for every question there must be an answer. So for example, are there monitoring tools and checklists to support the implementation of an effective quality assurance system? And I put all the sections here that answer that question. This form you do not need to fill in and send back to them. As things stand, they don't request this form back filled in, but I would definitely get it ready well ahead of time, because when they book an audit with you, that audit is often far ahead of time. Sometimes it's closer. I've seen them book audits with about 24 hours notice, just under 24 hours notice as well. So don't leave this to next year or later on, or when they contact you. Fill this thing in relatively soon. But first we need to submit evidence. So they will send you another email asking you to submit evidence. So remember, we did data capture, we declared that we have evidence, but now we actually need to submit evidence. So you will eventually get an email that says you need to upload these documents within 21 days. You should be getting this email shortly after the auto responses you receive there. It could be a couple of days though, so it's not like system fast. It depends on when the administrator gets hold of you. So what you want out of that, these are the documents they're going to ask you for. We covered all of this during the eligibility, and we will cover it now when we actually submit evidence. But just be aware, these are the items they ask for. What's missing here is the QMS. They're not asking you for anything QMS related. So why have I filled in all of this? You will need that later. So for now, that's the evidence they're going to request of you, and we need to start getting it ready. So we used the correct link, we did all that, we received auto responses, and save emails correspondence. Make sure that you're a good communicator when it comes to the QCTO. Have their emails, answer their emails, save their emails, follow up when you answer an email, do everything they ask you on the email. If you ignore them, your application is eventually just going to get shelved and pushed to the bottom and suppressed, and you're going to slow your own process down. When you have submitted your initial application and they give you that auto response, this auto response says 21 days. But this form over here says 1 calendar month. It'll give you a date that's 1 calendar month after. So the correct answer is 1 calendar month. Before 1 calendar month is done, you must have submitted those files and the evidence, or they will reject your application. I say start the clock. You've submitted the application. You've told them you have evidence. They've now asked you for evidence. You need to give that evidence to them quickly. You need to give them that evidence within 1 month. Don't delay it, because then your application will be suppressed and possibly rejected. In fact, most likely rejected. I've never pushed it over a month, so I don't know. But don't do it. So start the clock, 1 month, get your files ready, get your evidence submitted to them onto their SharePoint, which is at this link over here. I'm going to do the next video on that. Great.